Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast. Obviously, I'm missing someone in this chair. He is getting water. He'll be back in a moment. How you guys doing? Welcome back to episode 82 of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. As you can see, we have a 7-pack today, and everyone showed up. So that's, hey, you know what? That's a cheer for us all. No one cares. Okay. Well.
Ooh. Oh my god,
yes!
it's amazing. I can't believe it.
Eric's finally here.
All right. We should cheer here, Prime, because nobody's cheering for the Packers anymore. They're going home. So, I mean.
Right.
Oh my god, sports ball. Oh, yeah, that's why I totally came here to talk about.
I'm just saying. Nobody's cheering for them. They're all going home. So, I mean, you can cheer for the 49ers if you guys want.
Yo, I don't care about football. I don't care about
I'm
football.
watching the Bucks win by 20 right now, so I'm good. I'm NBA now. All NBA. The rest of the year. That's right. I'm not even cheering for the Packers next year. We're done. I'm giving up.
Yo, I was watching that one team beat the ever-living Jesus out of that other team just to watch the Quantumania trailer the other day. That's it.
There you go.
65-7. Oh, my Lord.
Woo. Wow. So, hey, everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, as always, Nathaniel Robojance. You guys know the other guy on the big board right now, Mr. Eric Moore.
Hello.
And then we got Kat Bergeson here. How's it going, buddy?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm a little overheating right now, but thank you. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna. I overdressed, apparently. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
no, I mean, you're not wearing at least you're not wearing a suit this time. Then you'd be really
not
overdressed.
this time. That's because I was that was at the time that was called for. That was completely called for when I wore a suit.
All right, next up we got Mike Odyssey. How's it going, bud?
What is going on? I'm here alive. I'm kicking and screaming sometimes, but all good.
He is here. And next up, we got the man pouring the drink over there. HMK, how's it going?
Yo, what's good, guys? It's good to be back. I've been playing a lot of games, and I've been chilling and whatnot. And I just needed to get colder where I'm at because I'm tired of being in January in winter and having the air over here hit 90 degrees.
What? 90 degrees?
Yeah. Florida, right? You're in Florida, like
Miami. Yep.
It was pretty nice last night. I went to play.
You can come over here to Canada if you want, and we can just chill.
I would love that.
Nuts for January.
Yeah.
I live in like the hottest part of one of the hottest parts of California, and it does not hit 90 degrees in January. Not even close. It's like it's 50 degrees right now. So.
You could go to the beach.
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
I mean, the beach has like the really nice breeze going on right now, but I mean, like it takes like 10, 20 minutes.
Like Los Angeles, like all the homeless people are like flooding down the street. It's
man.
nuts, man.
Damn. All right, we got Andres Restart here. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing okay. Yeah. Having a good day.
Just a good day.
Just a good day. I figured today, if I'm not talking for a little bit, I might actually open up this Lego box.
Start putting Legos during the show.
There you go.
I might.
No.
But yeah, I'm just ready to talk Nintendo.
Let's do it. And then we have another returning guest here in Player Essence. Although this is the first time he's been on the Big Boy Cast. Usually it's just small.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
He's used to casts like this, though. He's also a member of the Spawn Cast over there. So he does big member podcasts every Saturday over on the Spawn Wave channel. All right. Well, let's just get started. We always start off every single show by talking about what games have we been playing lately. And I guess since I got Player Essence up here, I'll ask him first. How's it going, buddy? What games have you been playing?
Yeah, just been playing a ton of Bayonetta 3. I restarted it after all the nonsense from what happened, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And then I've also been playing Metroid Dread again. So yeah, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Dread. Those are the two games that I've really been playing a lot. I beat Bayonetta 3, beat it completely. Now I'm doing like post-game stuff. Holy smokes. Post-game.
How do you feel about the update that they just put out?
Very good update. It fixed Viola because Viola was not.
I read about that. I'm like, oh, yeah, finally. Ugh.
Yeah, it fixed Viola. Like I said, I didn't test performance and all that. I mean, it feels like maybe it's a little bit better in some areas, but without the machines and all that, it's impossible for me to really test it out. But it feels good. I mean, they fixed the camera. A lot of times, like the camera's kind of jank. So they fixed that. It's better. Not perfect, but it's better. And yeah, Viola's a lot more fun to play. Like blocking with her feels good. Like you activate witch time, lasts longer, all that good stuff. So it was a good update. It was a very, very, very good update. It actually makes Viola fun to play. So yeah, and Dread is just fantastic. It's always good. So yeah.
I'm still waiting on more updates for Dread. After I'm pretty sure they haven't updated the game since the boss rush and the one hit mode.
I think they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DLC, come on.
Milked every second of Metroid Dread several times over.
Yeah.
What you been playing lately, Andres?
So I finished Wind Waker HD. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but now I'm knee deep into Twilight Princess, and it's awesome, honestly. Like I was wondering if it was like aging well. Like, you know, we always talk about Wind Waker aging really well, right? Like people, it's like become more popular over time. But I feel like there's this conversation about Twilight Princess that maybe it hasn't aged as well. But playing through it, I just finished Arbiter's Ground, so I'm like about halfway through. And I mean, I still think it's really good. I mean, the only real issues I have with it are just maybe like switching to wolf mode all the time is a little annoying. Like I wish it was just kind of like the mask, the Majora's Mask, but you have to like talk to Midna, then change the wolf.
Oh, do you have the HD version? Because it hotkeys on the HD version.
I'm playing
There's
the
a
HD
hotkey
version.
on the gamepad.
Yeah, on the gamepad, there's a button that does it instantly.
I use my gamepad though.
And
That's
just-
part of my problem.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's only one way to play Twilight Princess HD, and that's with the gamepad.
Yeah.
For that
Right.
button alone. For that
Let me
button
explain.
alone.
It makes no
that would like make
my
the experience
gamepad
way better.
is busted.
Oh no.
Like it'll work, but it has to be like tethered because the battery
That
is
is
just
the-
like
That is the
Yeah.
most ghetto gamepad I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Actually, fun fact.
Duct tape fixes
is-
everything.
It's even worse than you think because I actually in college, I don't know what I was thinking. I had my gamepad on the floor and I had a stool in my hand, and I just had this random lapse of like judgment. Like my IQ dropped to like about 2, and I just dropped the stool on the gamepad screen, and it broke.
Why would you do that?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
I also thought you were gonna put it on the stool and then you actually sat on it.
No.
Like-
No, I just dropped it. I don't know what happened, but anyways, I fixed the screen, but I had to like, you know, take it apart. I bought a new screen and put it in there. So it's been through some
Yeesh.
battles. It still works. I just have to like plug it in. It's
And then
kind
you
of
got the
annoying.
battery taped in with duct tape. I didn't know we were
Yeah.
revisiting the old school red green show over here.
Yeah.
Oh,
But anyways, Twilight Princess is still a really good game.
nice. HMK, what have you been playing lately, bud?
Honestly, I've been playing a lot more God of War Ragnarok, and I haven't even touched Elden Ring since last time I was here because I beat the game. I need to start New Game Plus. I'm still playing 358 Days over 2 when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, and I've been playing Ocarina of Time like again and again and again and again. I just can't put that game down. And then, you know, a lot of people are gonna be like, man, really, when I'm about to say this, I've been playing a lot of Genshin again. So I'm really.
I watched you
deep into it.
stream Genshin.
Yeah.
It's good. It's people like the game. So.
Yeah, no, I love the game, and I have to build up Primo Gems because Dia's coming out soon, so I gotta save up for that. And you know, a lot of people's like, oh, but Genshin, like, you know, the gacha. I'm like, listen, I am an adult. I pay taxes. I know what my money's about. I can control myself when it comes to the gachas of the game. Yes, it's predatory, but I know what I'm doing. All right,
much
so
money you
let me
spent
play
on
the
it?
game. Let me live.
Can I say one thing about Genshin, dude?
Yeah.
I would totally, if they just made like a Genshin pack that's just like a regular game, I can spend like $100 or $200 and I can just get a normal game. I swear I would buy that and just enjoy it. I would give them $200.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
But you know, they can't make money off that. They just like, oh, you're $200 and that's it.
They can. they just don't. They never get nothing.
No, not as much as they would with all the gotcha.
Oh,
And-
absolutely. But now I won't play it at all. It's like, what's that one game? Even though this game's free, what's that one game that's like a shooting game?
Fortnite?
It's on Switch. It's free to
No.
play. Has
Apex
like
Legends?
ninjas
Oh,
in
the
space.
ninjas.
Oh, the
Oh, Ninja
Warframe.
Yeah.
Warframe.
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 Oh.
Yeah, Warframe.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
Yes.
I thought you were
Warframe.
talking about Ninjala. And I'm like,
No,
Yeah.
not Ninjala. Warframe.
Yeah.
If Warframe was like just like dude, I'd be playing that like every day, man. I swear I'd be playing that so much.
Yeah, I think that's what turns me off. Like I'll start these games, but then I'm like, oh, I have to like buy stuff to play the whole experience. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, where do I start? Where do I end? And that's
Exactly.
what sort of throws me off.
Mhm.
Nice.
Mm.
All right.
So like
Mike.
they could even do like the gotcha mechanics, but if like they told you, hey, buy this package that gives you like the main experience,
Yes,
so you
all
know
this.
you're getting the main
Mhm.
experience, but you can still buy like extras on top. I
Yeah.
think that would work.
yeah. But they make way too much money off the gotcha. ones.
Yeah, I know. They make. I'm not hating on them for. I mean, they're making money out the.
That's why Mario Kart Tour is never going to be a console game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just port all the levels to the Switch.
Ubisoft wishes they could find some Genshin Impact success right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. We'll get into maybe a smidge of that later. Mike, what have you been playing lately?
So I finally finished Crisis Core Final Fantasy on the Switch.
Nice.
Oh my god, I love that game. Love that game. Now
so good.
my original plan was because I need to get my my Zelda fan theory better because I want to do more videos on Zelda. So I was gonna dual play Twilight Princess and Wind Waker and this other one Link Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds, yeah. For the 3DS.
I got Link Between Worlds on my Steam Deck. I got Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on the Wii U. But now I want to play Final Fantasy Remake on the PS5 because I just got over Crisis Core. I'm like in this mode of, man, this game was so good. I just want to continue the story with Final Fantasy 7 and then the other, what was it, Renegade, the second part?
Integrate.
Yeah, Renegade like that.
yeah. No, integrate.
But yeah, man, I'm in the RPG mood right now. I'm excited for Fire Emblem Engage. It's gonna be my first one.
Ooh. That game looks tight.
Yes.
So
I definitely recommend, like, if Fire Emblem Engage is going to be your first one, and if you like that, please go back and play Three Houses. That game had me. Oh, that game had me. Like, I would not make videos for a week. That game just had me, bro.
Go to Three Houses and maybe in 7 days just go ahead and not do anything else with that. I'm like, you know what? Let me just wait for Engage and then I'll go back and just give it its time because I want to make sure I enjoy it well.
Set aside, Fire Emblem Three Houses is incredibly long. Like it's like two games put into one. There's like this and then there's like they're both like on the hard mode. It took me you can't grind. You can't on hard mode. You can't grind or level up, and it took me 86 hours to beat the game.
Wow, that's how much it took me. You're just talking about the first run through, right? One story.
Yeah, just one run through.
There's 3 separate stories to go through.
There's 3 paths, but
count the DLC.
Plus, if you count the DLC, that's like I spent about 100 something hours.
You could easily put like 300-400 hours in this game if you want 100% it.
Oh, the game's so good. Oh my god!
I'll definitely go back after Engage. After Engage, because if I start playing now, I think I'll probably play Engage like maybe months ahead.
Yeah, you won't be done with it.
I love Three Houses too. Like it was like my favorite Switch game in 2019, but I only did one story. I did the Edelgard route, and I never actually
good. Yes, Black Eagles.
No.
Yes,
there we go.
Worst route in the game. Worst route in the game.
No. All right, no. All right, yo, OJ. Okay, OJ. This is your cred hinges on sand. So okay, if you're not Black Eagles, then what are you?
Blue Lions. That's
all right. Good. Because I swear, if you were gonna say Golden Deer, I'm like, you guys are Golden Deer is a bunch of glue eaters. All right, every team that is yellow in Nintendo or otherwise are glue eaters. Golden Deer, Team Instinct. Anytime you're yellow in Splatoon, they're all glue eaters. They're always glue eaters.
Is it Hufflepuff?
Always glue eaters.
I did the Golden Deer route. Like I'm like halfway through the Golden Deer route, and I'm like, this is okay. But at that point, I've had enough. At this point, I'm like, dude, I've had enough.
Oh my god! All right, so Blue Line's acceptable because if you said Golden Deers, I would be like, nah. But Black Eagles still better, bro.
He's like,
you're crazy. So I know why you like the Black Eagles because you're insane.
No, what you?
It's all about perspective, though.
Right? No, her path was true. Her justice was just
because you're psycho.
No, Edelgard wasn't wrong. Edelgard did nothing wrong.
If you play Three Houses, you know. Oh boy.
I'm sorry. No, we're gonna spoil it for Mike. I don't want to say anything more.
No, that doesn't spoil it. Trust me. When he plays, he's gonna be like, "What the
Mike's
hell?"
Mike's gonna come back next week and be like, "So look, I started playing Three Houses and I totally went Golden Deer. It's my favorite."
Might be a glue eater. I don't even know. I just have to get through it first.
I see it.
Oh, look, my fiance's texting me right now because she hears me from the other room and she's Golden Deer and she's texting me, "You're wrong." They're glue eaters. You're all glue eaters.
I knew I liked your fiance. She's awesome. She's a great lady.
Every image of Claude has him upside down because all they know how to do is meme. That's it.
Get her a Prada bag. Get her a Prada. She deserves Prada. She deserves a Chanel bag. Get her something nice, please. Get her something nice. She knows.
And not a bottle of glue, please.
Fill the Prada bag with glue.
That's why everyone that was Team Sweet in the latest Splatfest, y'all are glue eaters too. Y'all out here eating Play-Doh cake with Elmer's frosting. All right.
Oh
God. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna go that far. All right,
This
Cap.
click is
What have you
gonna
been
kill-
playing?
This click is gonna kill you, by the way.
Yeah,
That's true.
What have you been playing, Cap?
Oh, I've been actually, other than Splatoon, a lot of which I was Team Sour, by the way, and I finally hit S+1 after
Nice.
way too many hours. So I guess I was the glue eating team because we were yellow. So
No. Like it was like a highlighter and stuff.
Like greeny.
Yeah.
It was like a highlighter exploded all over the
Yeah.
all over. I actually won my first 100 times battle there. I was very proud of myself.
Oh,
Nice.
It was
Nice.
great. It was great. I've also been playing Four Swords Adventures on the
Ooh,
GameCube because
okay.
it's the only multiplayer Zelda game that's actually fun to still play single player.
Nice.
So it's
okay.
no, it's really fun. I the last time I played it is 2014, according to my old save file date, and I was like, why have I not played this game in so long? And it holds the hell up. It's really fun. So
Cap, like I'm gonna make a confession real quick.
yeah,
I
confess.
played and beat Triforce Heroes by myself,
How
and I thought it was fun. I like playing Triforce Heroes by myself. So like when you say Five Swords of Adventure, like Triforce Heroes though, like
Are you sure
Honestly-
you didn't steal your wife's glue and eat some?
What?
You enjoy that game? Are you
What?
sure you
I
enjoy that glue?
I didn't. I honestly did not see the problem. Everyone's all like, "What? You don't know how to like totem properly?"
You definitely
Like,
ate some glue. If you
nah,
think that game was fun by yourself.
Nah, Triforce
It's
Heroes was
definitely
fun.
the
But-
first Zelda game where Triforce Heroes was the first time I played a Zelda game where I was feeling like I really had to just like push myself to actually play it. I wasn't like
Really?
drawn into it or pulled in. Like I was like, okay, time to play Triforce Heroes, I guess. And
How do you
crack
feel
my
about
3DS
Zelda
open.
2?
It's
Oh,
I'll
me?
play Zelda 2
Oh.
and find more to enjoy there than
Okay.
Triforce Heroes.
No, I love Zelda 2. I feel that's
Zelda 2's
that game needs to be remade by Mercury Steam now.
yeah.
Like, that's that.
Oh my
Give it
god,
to 'em.
that's an amazing
happen.
idea.
That would be nice. I would like that
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Wow.
Yep.
That'd be good.
Wow.
Unless it means that they stop working on another Metroid game. I'd rather they
Right.
continue with
Mm.
Metroid.
Or
But,
they
you
can
know,
finish. Retro Studios can finish
It's both.
Prime 4.
I would rather
Like-
that. Too.
Finally.
That would be
One of
ideal.
these days.
Metroid Prime 4 is only a tactic to hire people. It's not real.
I believe it. No, I agree. 100%.
Is
Metroid
Metroid
Prime-
Prime 4 in the room with you
Stop
right
it,
now?
Mike.
I'm just crying internally right now. So
Oof.
Oh, that's great. Eric,
Oh man,
have you been playing any games lately? What's up?
Still putzing my way through Sparks of Hope,
Okay,
slowly but
Okay.
surely.
getting
Of an
there.
hour or two a week, but slowly but surely I'll get through it.
Nice.
Still having fun though. So
Yeah. Well, you better keep having fun because that might be the last one we ever get.
yeah.
More
Oh.
on that later. Ubisoft is not happy right now. Anyways.
Oh, I got something to say about that. Oof.
We'll
When we get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been playing 3 games lately. It's kind of weird because I started off the last week trying to get back into Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because I never really got past the first few hours.
Mhm.
So I was trying to dive back in because I told myself I was going to beat it before Tears of the Kingdom. And then my fiance started playing Breath of the Wild for the first time. And so I'm sitting there watching her play in bed as I'm playing Xenoblade, and I'm like, I gotta play. I gotta play. I gotta play some Breath of the Wild. I'm watching her like her first exploring, figuring things out. She's just having fun throwing bombs. I'm like, I remember that. But also, I'm kind of. Did you know you could do this? You could shield. Nope. Don't tell her things. Let her figure it out. All right. I'm gonna grab mine. And so I started playing Breath of the Wild as well. And this is when I put out a tweet the other day, dude. I know it's 2023. That game still holds up.
Oh, yes.
That could be a
100%.
brand new game this year, and I believe it. It's so good.
on Switch, easily.
Yeah, on Switch. I don't care if it's a PS5, man. It would just be high resolution. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, also, again, credit to my fiance. She started playing my PS5 and was playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I've never played Final Fantasy VII in any form. So secretly, when she decided to fall asleep early the other day, I came down, I took over, and I've been playing it now for 5 hours this week.
Nice.
And I am absolutely loving it. Now, I never played the original, so I'm not really sure how it compares, but I'm kind of liking it. I'm getting back into Final. That scares me to get back into Final Fantasy.
I don't know if this is like a bad take, but
Probably
I like 7 Remake way more than the original.
That's not a bad take. It's just people want to argue due to like elitism when it comes to the original, right?
I just don't think it aged well.
No, like both aged extremely well because like Final Fantasy 7, the original was like way ahead of its time, and when those who are playing, who's never played the original and then either play the remake first or play that first and then play the remake, you will find out the differences are there. But I'm not going to say anything. But like a lot of people compare those two games as like. Sure, one's remake, one's the original, but like the way they play fundamentally are two very different games. Sure, they both run off the ATB system, right? But the way remake plays, I like they hit gold with that battle system, and I feel like that was just like how I played Final Fantasy 7 back in the day. It was like, yo, this game was ahead of its time, and I'm playing Final Fantasy 7 remake, and with remake, I'm like, yo, this game's ahead of its time. Like there are so many games that try to like do all the different type of things that remake does well, like on their own, but remake does all of that stuff like insanely well. It's like it's mind-boggling how much remake gets right. But then I can't say how people like, oh, I don't like this game because blankety blank. But we're not going to get into that because that's spoilers for those who haven't, it's past just, a certain point.
Not supposed. It's just the structure of the game is just a bit off. It's like you play the original and like you get all these cool characters, and maybe you're expecting that, and you don't get that. You don't get Red, you don't get Yuffie. You get Yuffie later in the DLC, but if you played it at the original, you don't get that, and then you lose half of your cast for like large portions of the game. Like if you like playing as Barrett. Dude, he's not there for like 60% of the game.
And I love playing as Barrett. Oh my lord!
Yeah, because like he has a gun and it's a cool gun. He's like you're just lighting people up. It's like, well, he's gone for like literally. And I'm not capping here. It's like 50% of the game. He's just not there. So that's the problems. And like some of like the loading screens and some of just the stuff that's like not as open. It seems a little bit more closed off at times. Like just that. But what you said, HMK, not to go off on a tangent with Final Fantasy, but no, FF7 remake is awesome. And it looks like the second one,
Rebirth.
Rebirth is going to fix a lot of the things. So yeah, I'm excited. The original, I still want to see the original remade though. Remade, modern. It doesn't have to be as crazy as FF7 remake.
HD 2D?
Just no, not HD 2D. Just remade in like nice graphics, like even like Final Fantasy 13 level graphics.
Okay,
and just remake it and put it out on all the systems. I think that'd do fine.
I don't know about entirely like that, but I mean, Ever Crisis is being made, and that's like in the avenue of what you're asking for.
But Ever Crisis, but please on consoles. How about that?
Ever
Crisis on consoles, or just give me the typical Final Fantasy battle system, like turn-based. I think they're sleeping on turn-based Final Fantasy, in my opinion. I think they're sleeping on it, considering how Octopath does and stuff like that. But that's
Nate, permission to go on a tangent.
Oh my god! You know what? You've been wanting to since this thing started, haven't you? Go for it.
Well, it's inherently there. When I'm talking, these tangents are going to happen. But we're just talking about Final Fantasy, and since we're talking about Final Fantasy, I'm thinking about Xenoblade. It's like Nintendo's kind of like version of Final Fantasy, right? And I'm like thinking, man, it's just amazing how many great like Final Fantasy products are coming out right now. Like we have the new one, we have the remakes, we have the Crisis Core. Like there's so much good Final Fantasy stuff happening. What if Xenoblade got to that point someday? It probably won't. But like, what if it did? Like, how cool would that be?
In 10 years,
no, it won't. It won't ever get to. It won't ever get to that point because it's not as big as Final Fantasy. So it's never going to be. They're never going to like spam it. You know what I'm saying? Like they spam Final Fantasy in a way, and it's just Xenoblade's not that. And I don't know if Monolith Soft will ever want to make it that either. That's another thing too. So
something I'll throw out is like, for example, you look at Xenoblade X, right? I feel like that's almost like an attempt to branch off, but we haven't seen them continue that storyline yet. But like the gameplay is a little different because that's open world, and the numbered ones are more linear, more focused on the story. Like, in theory, we could see both like become like their own dedicated series where there's recurring releases. And don't get me started. I mean, I don't think it would be called Xenoblade, but like there's the speculation that the new IP, like if that has like online components, like what if like they go in like a slightly MMO direction? That's me purely like dreaming, speculating, right? But let's say 10 years down the line, they start experimenting in that direction. And that's kind of like maybe Nintendo's equivalent to the Final Fantasy MMO. Like that, I don't think they'll ever get as big as Final Fantasy. Like that's obviously like a pipe dream. Xenoblade's way more niche. But what if it just gets to a point where they do branch off a little bit, and it is to a point where we're seeing like some kind of Xenoblade game almost every year.
Yeah, I don't know if I want.
I don't know
that.
about all of that.
Yeah, I don't know if we need that. I think that's what makes Xenoblade because they take the time to weave the narratives.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start spamming them or if you start making it like every other year, it's going to get sloppy or it's going to get like Ease. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Ease, but it's going to get to that type of quality where you're just going to have to throw a story out there, throw something out there, and great gameplay, but not necessarily all like the HMK fifth dimension lore theories. It's going to get to the point to where it's just not good.
Yeah. Like I love Xenoblade 3, but I'm okay waiting 4 or 5 years for Xenoblade 4. Like that's fine for me.
Right now, dude, that DLC
is
going to be nuts. And that's this year.
Yeah.
That's this year. I think I know what the DLC is going to be, but once again, no spoilers, but I think I know what it's going to be.
I'm going to stop tangenting because we could talk about that, but
yeah, stop tangent. All right, stop it.
All right. Well, I guess then we'll hop into our first topic here. It's something that I've kind of brought up this week. I think I saw Player Essence talked about it a bit in a video as well, or on a live stream, one of the two. I can't remember which it was. It was on in the background for me about Tears of the Kingdom kind of being. I don't know if it's just because we don't know anything, but it seems to be sort of getting slammed or like Breath of the Wild combined into Tears of the Kingdom. Really, since the release date was announced, seems to be slammed in the podcast notes because the public can't see it. There's what do I got? Like 6 different articles from all these different websites, like Games Radar, Game Rat, Metro, Screen Rant, The Gamer, Tom's Guide, and all of them bringing up like all these different points that make them like concerned about Tears of the Kingdom. Like Tom's Guide's all like concerned because hey, this game's going to be on Switch. It might not be on new hardware, and because of that, it's going to suffer and be a bad experience. Like another, like the Gamer saying, "Oh, hey, horses is bad in Breath of the Wild.
What?
It's going to be bad in Tears of the Kingdom because there's a limit on how far away I can call my horse back to me." Because I don't know, I'm too lazy to.
That's actual BS. Obviously, they didn't find the ancient horse gear.
Yeah,
right.
Well, there's that. Let me see. There was also on Metro, they were talking about how they're scared that Tears of the Kingdom is going to have performance issues because of Scarlet and Violet, which okay, that's a thing. I guess we're going to compare those two development teams like they're the same thing. Then there was Game Rant talking about fearing of reducing Zelda to a damsel in distress, going back down that rabbit hole. And then obviously, yeah, it's a rabbit hole in heaven. And then another article basically talking about how climbing sucks in Breath of the Wild because of stamina and because climbing's back in Tears of the Kingdom. They're really angry about it. Which is
so
interesting.
many thoughts.
So
that's
the stuff I can find. There's probably more out there. I don't care to really look up anymore because I don't know what's happening, and it's coming from like all these mainstream outlets.
Negativity gets you clicks.
Exactly, because like
that's probably what it is. Yeah,
I've seen all these articles like in real time before you brought it up for this stream, but this like I've been following Zelda for like a lot of people really don't know how old I actually am. But I've been following Zelda like as long as I can remember, and the thing is, like this always happens right before the game a game releases. Every time, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, A Link Between Worlds, bro. When A Link Between Worlds was about to come out, people were like dogging on. Right, I don't want to say people. I want to say like big outlets were dogging on it. It's like it's not going to be as good as A Link to the Past. Why visit A Link to the Past? Keep it timeless. They shouldn't really touch the formula. Blah 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 blah. All this stuff. So it's just like it's clockwork. Where like everyone here is saying, it's just negativity gets clicks and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But in the avenue, when like if I were to choose one specifically, because I want to give everyone else a chance to talk. If I have to choose one specifically, when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, could ruin what made Breath of the Wild so special, exploring the same Hyrule and being not impressive and boring. There are it's so funny how people really don't talk about how there's been a multitude of sequels in the past that has had relatively the same world explored in a sequel. And then, of course, they add changes. They either expand it to make it infinitely bigger or better or whatnot. People don't talk about the good times there. They just want to focus on the negativities. Like, oh man, like, oh my goodness, when they finally outright confirmed when it was called Breath of the Wild 2, when we were calling it Breath of the Wild 2 for Tears of the Kingdom, when they were saying things like, oh, we're going back to the same overworld, pass. It's gonna be boring. The same one. I'm like, it's the same world, but it's not going to be one-to-one the same. As we saw from the latest trailer where they officially announced the name, and from the box art, you look down in the world of Hyrule, that place is torn up. You know, we have Hyrule Castle floating in the air. We have Malice literally pouring out of Death Mountain. We have this big tornado happening over in the Hebrew region. There is stuff happening to this world that is supposedly familiar. And then we have to deal with the sky area and the supposed underground and the beyond, which IGN Onuma hinted at when they delayed the game and whatnot. So it's not going to be one-to-one. You're sure there's going to be some familiarity, which I feel is good because it gives you like a starting point in which, like, hey, let me go explore this. Let me go explore that. Nobody complained about this in God of War Ragnarok, right? And that was the same world. Obviously, it was changed because, Fimbulwinter happened, right? But it's the same world when we go to the same places, but it was changed and adapted to show how the world came from point A to point B in a sequel, because that's what sequels usually do. No one complained about this when we went from Jak 2 to Jak 3, when we had the city and the desert on top of all that. So when people say all this kind of stuff, I don't know what they're talking about. Really. I'm sorry.
There were, real quick before you go on there were, and I'll let somebody else go. There were some people that were trying to claim like God of War DLC pack.
I saw those people, and then like
they would get flamed. They would get flamed and be like, you guys are morons, like right there.
Yeah.
So
I almost had to come back to put the moron word out. Should have known better. The player essence.
or is that not a good word? Can we not say
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry, it's not on YouTube's banned list. We're all right.
I was like, it's
All right.
the R word. I'm not saying that.
All right, about the Switch, about the Switch not being powerful enough to. Oh my god. Anyway, I remind her. I'm not reminding the crew, the 7-pack. I'm reminding everybody out there. The Breath of the Wild was built for the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Breath of the Wild was built for the Wii U. Let me go here. I'm gonna go all Apple on you guys, okay? Because this is how I know how to talk. I need to break it down. I can't talk to you in circuits and boards. Listen, we have developers who know how to put square circles in circle pegs. They know how to make things fit into things. They develop for specific hardware. Just like when we have an iPhone, we have iOS, which is developed specifically for the iPhone and for that alone, and that's why it runs well. We have developers who know how to develop. This is not all developers. There are a lot of people out there who I'm not sure they're trying to make it fit, but they can't. And they make hardware and they do all this, stuff. But
so you could just say Game Freak. It's okay. It's okay.
Exactly. I mean, there's a square peg. There's a square hole. Like, come on, Pokemon fit. No, that's not how it's gonna work. You have to make it work. Develop for the specific hardware, and you'll get the best out of that hardware. Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom. This is the second installment using the same engine, using the same exact world that was developed for the Wii U, just adding more things to it and enhancing the world. We have a sky now. We might have it underground. We have caves. We might have the dungeons. We have all that. It's just elements added to it using the same exact engine. They're not rewriting the story. They're not rewriting the book. They're not remaking the wheel. They're just basically expanding the game, giving us a brand new game developed for the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, can it run better on better hardware? Of course. There's more.
Everything can.
Yeah, everything can. But you can't say that Tears of the Kingdom cannot run on the Switch. It's just like the hardware limitation thing is a joke, just because if you are a good developer, you know how to exactly develop for that specific hardware. I'm not going to make a game for PS5 that belongs in a phone. You know what I mean? And expect it to run the same way. I'm going to think about the phone. I'm going to think about how the phone can handle it, and I'm going to develop it specifically for that piece of hardware. So thinking, these articles where we have to kind of, is the Switch powerful enough to do this? Yes. If you develop for the Switch, it is. Is the GameCube powerful enough to develop this? Yes. If you develop a game for the GameCube, yes, it is. You know, you have to know how to develop for a specific console in order for it to take and to maximize the best out of that console. I'm gonna not say anything else because I'm losing my breath here and I'm gonna die soon. And
I just want to play devil's advocate because I believe you. I'm on your side, but just to kind of like cover different angles, right? So I remember a conversation when Bayonetta 3 came out. I guess it's really just speculation. We don't actually know the answer. But Bayonetta 3 came out. There's reported performance issues, right? People speculated that it might have something to do with the fact that maybe when they were making Bayonetta 3, they were hoping that would run on better hardware. So maybe with the conversation that maybe Tears of the Kingdom would have come out with a Switch 2 or what have you, maybe some people are worried that Nintendo has another version of Tears of the Kingdom that they sort of made for Switch 2, and that's where the optimizations are more focused on. And with the base Switch version, it's not going to run or look better. I don't believe that, but I know it's kind of like a conversation point that some people will bring up. Like, do you guys think there's any legitimacy to that idea that Nintendo might have made a better version, and because of that, the Switch version just isn't going to look or run as well as it should?
Breath of the Wild looks amazing. It looks beautiful. It's a stunning game. Like on the Switch, it's a stunning game, and it was made for the Wii U. So if Nintendo, nobody knows whether Nintendo's bringing up a new hardware or not. You know, it's speculated. We might see it, we might not. I know it's this year or next year. But if they are making if they are developing for first thing, the game is being developed for the Switch. That's how it's been announced. So that's where we focus on the Switch. It can handle it because it's being developed for that. Now, when it comes out on the next gen console or whatever it comes out, I doubt we're gonna see a lot of difference, but higher resolutions. You know what I mean? Higher frame rate.
Praying for 60 FPS mode.
In that kind of point, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of ray tracing and a whole bunch of other stuff that you do like in emulation. I think we're gonna see a bump in resolution, frame rates, 4K. That's probably what we're gonna probably end up seeing, because I don't see Nintendo making a more powerful console than the PS4.
Yeah,
maybe a little kind of there, and not.
It'll be more powerful than the PS4.
Yeah,
it'll be more powerful than the PS4 is ancient. Technology-wise, it's ancient, and it's not hard to make something with modern technology that's better than the PS4 right now. So that's really what it comes down to.
I'm thinking more like maybe the Pro,
PS4 Pro.
So something like
PS4 Pro. Once again, it's I don't know if you guys have talked with MVG, but MVG always talks about this in terms of like teraflops and power. That stuff doesn't matter in today's day anymore. That's why you can have like Xbox Series. We have the most powerful console. Well, there's a bunch of games on PS5 that look better. You know what I'm saying? Like it's based on what Mike Odyssey was saying. It's based on how the developers develop for that system and what they maximize for that system. There's a reason why certain games, like on GameCube, that can look incredible compared to what they were on PS2 or what they were on Xbox or whatever the case is. It's based on how the developers actually make for it. So whatever teraflops or power, whatever the case is, it's just going to matter how they develop on that and what architecture and what system and like what they do with it. Obviously, raw power numbers and what you can do computing is all very important, but is not the be all end all when it comes to making a game look beautiful or look good or run good or whatever the case is. So like the whole power numbers things, I don't really think that's going to matter, especially when you have stuff like DLSS and these other type of technologies that come in and just simulate things. That's not going to matter. I think what's really going to matter for Nintendo obviously is the capability for developers to ease of porting and use, like stuff like that, memory bandwidth, things like that are going to be very important. RAM amount, stuff like that, so they don't run out of resources while they're porting or developing their games, more so than we hit this number for raw power PS4 Pro. Like, that's not what they're going to be looking at with modern technology, at least. And based off of what MVG has told me, he's a Switch developer, based off of what some other developers have stated as well with it. So I don't think they're really worried about that. To answer your question, when it comes to like actual, like, do they start developing? Like Mike says, it was based on the Switch. They started it on the Switch. There was no next generation system, They started, this was DLC for Breath of the Wild. This was started out as DLC. So they started on the Switch and then they evolved it, almost like Mario Galaxy 1 to 2, but they went way further because that was a 2.5 year wait compared to now this is a 6.
Tell me about it.
Crazy.
In development, Zelda game of all time.
this is evolved into a whole new thing. I think if the Wii was more capable, it probably would have just been a DLC. Like it would have just been an expansion for Mario Galaxy. If it was, but it couldn't do that, right? We had to download whole channels just to get a patch for a game. Like whenever there was like a game breaking.
Oh man!
Oh, Skyward Sword.
I remember that. The Skyward Sword channel.
Metroid Other M.
Oh my god!
Skyward Sword, Metroid Other M, and I think Twilight Princess even had a game-breaking bug, but I think you had to send it down. So like the system just wasn't set up for that. So I think going forward, Nintendo is going to have to figure out those things with resources, putting enough stuff in there. Like, what was it? I think Capcom said like, yo, like we need like more RAM in here, right? And then Nintendo was like, all right, we'll double it. So stuff like that is going to be very important to make the system feel more adequate and modern in today's day. They're not going to get a system, obviously, that's going to be PS5. Like that's not happening in a hybrid, no. But the modern development tools and stuff like that and resource memory bandwidth, is going to be very big. Hopefully they really take care of that and listen to what developers have to say,
Yeah. I feel like something else that people don't think about as often now, because Nintendo has consistently been using less powerful hardware compared to the competition, is it like when it comes to like the EPD like Nintendo games, like the Zeldas, the Marios, like when they come out with those mainline games, what they do with the hardware is just kind of insane. And we don't see it. I mean, I think it looks amazing, right? But maybe sometimes people don't think it looks as amazing now because you have your PS5s and such that have much more horsepower. But like the Zelda team knows how to push the system. Like they're going to whatever is possible for Switch. They're gonna do everything they can. It's like it's gonna be one of, if not like the best looking, most impressive games on Switch. So whatever that is, that's going to be significantly better than Breath of the Wild.
It's crazy. Like all the talk we're having about how Tears of the Kingdom is going to be like, above and beyond of everything of Breath of the Wild, utilizing the Switch's capabilities to the maximum and whatnot. I just find it like, we're still talking about Tears of the Kingdom. I don't want to veer off. It's just that in my head, I'm like, yes. As a Zelda fan at first, I'm like, yes. And then all the articles and speculation coming out saying that like, oh, Tears of the Kingdom might be the swan song for the Switch. I'm like, yeah, push it to the maximum. I'm like, but wait a minute, aren't we forgetting something? Oh wait, where's Prime 4? What's gonna happen to Prime 4? So I'm like, whatever, Tears of the Kingdom, man. I'm like, that's honestly, I'm so excited for the game, and I really do like agree with everyone's saying, like, utilizing the Switch's capabilities to the maximum. Like, I don't believe the game was developed in mind for a Switch Pro or a Switch 2 or anything like that. It was developed starting on Switch to run on Switch. And everything we've seen from, the trailers and whatnot and what Nintendo's decided to put out, even though it's still very little, the game looks as impressive as ever. And after a couple of patches, because I mean, like when Breath of the Wild first came out, it was rough in some areas, not overall, but in some areas. Like, I know everyone here when they first entered the Korok Forest, like, oh my lord, I'm pretty sure I saw smoke coming out of my Switch. But after like a patch or two, it was like, okay, it's running fine. Like a trial and error. This game was developed for the Wii U first, and then they put it onto the Switch. Now that's Tears of the Kingdom is being developed for Switch in mind. I feel like a lot of things are going to be a lot more impressive, and I feel like a whole idea to look at, is with Age of Calamity. Like, sure, it was done by a different development team. Nintendo was supervising and whatnot, but Age of Calamity, in terms of its cutscenes and in terms of its like color correction and whatnot, because like, I don't know if you guys notice this, and I do this a lot when I make videos on Breath of the Wild, how Breath of the Wild has this weird, I can't. I'm sorry, Nate.
It looks like kind of washed out at times.
No, that's way too nice. I'm sorry, Nate, but I'm like we call it the piss filter, right? Yeah. And that's what it looks like, right? And then sometimes I take footage, like and a lot of times where like if the sun is not setting when it's like raining, or if you're in an area, it just has this like really weird yellow or green muted like tone to it, right? And then when I go into color correction, when I'm like editing videos of it, like I just like mess around with the color correction. I'm like, this looks so much better if they just went with this. And in Age of Calamity, when you compare parts that you see in Breath of the Wild to parts that you see in Age of Calamity, the color correction is actually a lot better. In which, like, they got rid of that filter. The contrast has been like updated and whatnot. So like the graphical styling and the graphical, I would say how they tackle that in terms of cutscenes in Age of Calamity looks so spot on. And I'm like, oh, they're going in the right direction. And I feel like they're going to keep doing that for Tears of the Kingdom in terms of how they convey the game's atmosphere, in terms of, you know, how they present it. I don't know about, like, you know, gameplay and whatnot, but I believe, like, I have faith in Nintendo after how I played Breath of the Wild. I have faith they're going to utilize Switch to the maximum in terms of gameplay. We might get a stutter here and there, and it's definitely not going to go to 60 frames per second. As long as it's running like mostly stable 30, I'm good, considering how big the world is and rendered all in real time.
I know we don't know for sure, but when the few shots of looking down, it kind of looks like they got rid of the Lost Woods, which maybe, I don't know if that was why, because it was still a problem area, because it still is technically. But who knows? There's
Ganondorf burned it to the ground.
Burned it down.
I feel like that like fogginess that we see was just purely just to like kind of like hide, like, you know, pop in and things like that. And they'll probably optimize it better and hopefully figure out the color. Because I do agree, there's parts of Breath of the Wild that look a little washed out. And when I think back on it, I always feel like Breath of the Wild looks worse than it actually is. Then I go and play, I'm like, oh, it actually still looks pretty good.
Right.
But there is definitely room for improvement.
Yeah.
Let's keep my like games like that come out late in the console's life cycle, like always run and look better than games that come out early in a console's life cycle. That happens every console generation. It just is a fact because developers just get better at optimizing things, right? That's really just like what it comes down to. To sum up almost what everything everyone is saying. And even if in the hypothetical unrealistic world where they were developing this game for like a Switch Pro or something that doesn't exist, Ocarina of Time was developed for the N64 DD initially, and then, you know, they had to scale things back because then once they realized what they were actually developing for, just the base N64, they were able to reel in their ambitions and realistically outline what they could and couldn't have run in that game. And then it turned out to be one of the best games ever made of all time. So, you know, we just have to have a little faith in the Zelda team here.
No, I have faith. I keep realizing we're not in a Discord call, so I'm just gonna send this like directly to Nintendo Prime when it comes to like the comparisons I'm trying to convey. You don't have to show us on stream, but I just like, this is what I mean. And then he's gonna be like, oh,
I probably will be like, oh. No, look. Oh, you got you.
Yeah, no. I know, like, Breath of the Wild, we've all said, you know, designed for the Wii U and things like that. And I'm going to kind of play a little bit of devil's advocate again here. I think we all wish it was designed and optimized for the Switch originally, just straight out from the get-go. And maybe I haven't really fully read this article yet, but what I'm thinking is maybe they're just kind of hoping that it would be designed and optimized for a brand new system, just so that it can absolutely let itself go and show how beautiful this thing can be. I'm not saying that the Switch couldn't handle it and make it even more beautiful than what it already is, because we all know it's more powerful than the Wii U and everything like that, and it's going to be more optimized and everything like that. But to have a new system and let it just open up and go would be, I think, you know, what we all kind of are, you know, somewhat hope for.
Yeah, I mean, look, all this negativity, I think, stems from a few things. One, obviously, all these places just want clicks. I mean, there's nothing else to talk about with the game because we're all waiting for the blowout. You know, it's 4 months away. And literally, as of tomorrow, we're 4 months from this thing being here, and we still don't really know much. So we're all just kind of waiting for that next direct or trailer drop or whenever Nintendo starts the marketing campaign, probably sometime after Engage comes out. But it's just, they want the clicks, and they also, I've noticed this as a trend, games that are super popular a handful of years later, it becomes like this trendy thing to suddenly crap on them as if they weren't amazing. Like horseback riding was bad. What? No one. That was never a criticism of Breath. The horseback riding, the climbing mechanic. Sure, the rain, that was a complaint. The stamina of it. What? What are we talking about?
No, you're absolutely right, Prime. There's definitely it's kind of fishing. Like, it seems forced. Like, it's like, listen, I've been writing. I know, Prime, you've been writing for a long time. We've all been reading the internet and writing. We've all have businesses in one way or another. We all know how this works, okay? And they are fishing. Like, I'm reading these articles, and it feels like their butts are clenched as they're writing this, like trying to just like literally just like, oh, what am I gonna write? They seem like this is like legit like fishing, because like they're cringe. Yeah, it's low key cringe. I see what they're doing. Like you got to play the game a little bit. So I don't have a problem with these articles, and I get it. It's like, what was it? GameSpot posting Metroid Prime remasters coming soon, like 50 times on Twitter. It's like,
is it? Are we on like 60 days in a row now? I don't even know.
It's like we all know they're fishing. They're looking. Look, ad revenue is down January. It's like it's down. Like they're fishing and they're looking and they're looking. So I get it, and it brings clicks over. But I think the funniest thing with all of this is that like I get it for somebody who wants like a more powerful system. Like I completely get that 100%. But when the game comes out, none of that's really going to matter. Like I don't really think that it's going to matter. People are just going to be excited for the game. They're still going to be like but like it would be great. But at the end of the day, like you don't get experiences like this really at all. So it's not like there's like a million great games on PS5 and Series X that have this type of experience. So it's like one of those things like you're just going to take it in like then. I don't have a problem with any of these articles because I find them very funny. Like the stamina thing is so silly. Just make a stamina potion, like you weirdo. Like just make a stamina. You can drink it, and there's no animation. Link just drinks it in the menu.
Too far away. Well, there's a solution in the game for that. Are you like
also like, the fact that
can you imagine they don't get stamina vessels?
If the horse is far away, whistle, it's not going to come.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty realistic.
Same with climbing stamina. It's realistic. You can't just climb forever.
Guys,
I actually rock climb in real life, and it is hard, guys.
Yeah.
I can't. It is hard. The fact that Link can climb with all that gear as well as he does
with his bare fingers,
astonishing. It's basically superhuman.
Fingernails.
Yeah.
What do you mean fingernails? He's Spider-Man.
He is Spider-Man.
That stuff like with the stamina and all, it was great. It was great for strategy. I think it was awesome. Like I think really they're just like I said, they're fishing a bit. And really they complained about like I guess like the rain a little bit, but mainly they just didn't like the mechanics like with that they should just be able to climb forever. But like at the end of the day, this stuff doesn't really matter.
But the thing that sucks about it is that you could, and I say this with Breath of the Wild being literally my favorite game, you can make genuine criticisms of it. I have genuine criticisms of it.
Sure, absolutely.
But this just feels low effort.
Yeah.
That's what exactly.
Like you read it and you're like, you missed the point of climbing because having a stamina mechanic means that climbing is actually meaningful because you're in control. Another game I love, Horizon, for example, its climbing is basically scripted. They're glorified staircases with really cool climbing animations, but the game plays itself. You're not actually doing any of the climbing, and there's no limitation other than here's the climbing place and here's not the climbing place. And then it's this weird disjointed. It's just stairs, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cap. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just so put in some effort,
Yes,
you're gonna make a criticism.
Legitimate, like
they just don't like thinking.
Like the menu, like hey, maybe like a better quick menu. Like maybe like dungeons, like maybe like weapon breaking, having a blacksmith. Like those are like we're not seeing
enemy variety.
Yeah, enemy variety. We're seeing a bunch of low effort like
table,
or even just enemy AI.
The
enemy scaling is just enemies becoming more and more hit spongy. You can make a genuine criticism of like more enemy variety and better enemy AI for harder enemies that actually makes them more challenging instead of just wasting 5 minutes.
I'm glad you brought that up
for 5 minutes
because I've been playing both Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, right? And I'm like, okay, I should do hero mode because when I first played the HD versions, I did hero mode, but I'm trying to play them a little bit quicker. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna forego hero mode, and I with Wind Waker you can change it. In Twilight Princess, it's like you're
locked
stuck.
in,
but you can use like the Gandorf amiibo to have the blue hearts. But what I've realized though is that I don't really think I like hero mode because it's kind of similar to like the harder mode in Breath of the Wild. It was
master mode.
I don't like master mode either. Like I like the platforms, I like those stuff, but like just making them damage sponges, to your point, like that's not actually fun. It's actually just kind of annoying. If they had like better AI, that would have been better. It would have required more thought. And I mean, I think that's kind of the overall point with the whole stamina meter too. It makes you think about climbing as opposed to just running through.
Yeah. And actually, to your point, you said you're playing Twilight Princess. So when you get to like a harder enemy in Twilight Princess, like a Darknut, for example, those guys will kick your ass because they're going to block all your attacks, and they're actually harder to fight because you have to be more strategic about how you approach the combat, as opposed to them just being a harder enemy because they have 10,080 HP instead of 700 HP, or whatever it is.
Cap, I get your point, but like when you were saying that, we're like, oh, Darkness, the hard enemy. I'm like, there's no such thing as a hard enemy in Twilight.
Okay, I mean that's just the first thing that came to my mind. If you have all the hidden skills, you can cheese the Darkness.
No, not even. Obviously the game can't function without ending blow, but there's no such thing as a hard enemy in Twilight Princess.
It's interesting though, because when you look at the combat system for Twilight Princess, there's a good combat system there. They just don't have the enemies to back it up.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. No. You don't like every time you guys bring up Twilight Princess now. Like I you activated me. I'm sorry. Every time people bring up Twilight Princess, every time y'all were talking about Twilight Princess, I'm like, listen, don't get me wrong. I love the game. I do. I really, really do. When people say it's the best, it's my favorite, I'm like, bro, I don't even put Twilight Princess in my top 5, right? And the one thing that's there's 2 big things that keeping Twilight Princess from my top 5 Zelda games, and I love the game. Don't get me wrong. Amazing story. Some of the best music, also some of the worst music, right? Great design. I'll bring up some tracks. Great design. Like I said, amazing story, amazing characterization. Midna is hands down the best companion in all of Zelda, right? But the thing is, one, the overworld is barren. It's barren. Like the biggest Zelda before Breath of the Wild, barren overworld. That's one. 2, the game is excruciatingly easy, in which you're gonna bring up this whole awesome fleshed out, and that's another point, another plus for Twilight Princess, an amazing fleshed out combat system. You have one of the most, if not the most fleshed out combat system Zelda's ever had, and it will never, ever, ever see the light of full utilization because of how painstakingly easy the game is. All right, and that's the thing that burns me. So I hope they
bring all those those 7 secret techniques into like Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes,
but actually use it. Actually take advantage of it. Like, this enemy is blocking to their head. Okay, well, I guess we got to do a Helm Splitter. Like, that's what makes sense, you know? Or, they're like actually use those different techniques to find the openings. Like, that would be amazing. One more thing I want to add to your point. The bosses, they are epic. I would say maybe the best boss designs in the series, but they're all puff pastries at heart.
They are
like, they're
really
way too easy.
I remember this one article back when I remember video game magazines? You guys remember when that happened? Like back in the day when you get your reviews through magazine and not the internet. I forgot. I think it was Game Informer that said it. And I'm like, that's such an amazing point. Where you go fight Final Ganondorf, you expect to fight Darth Maul, and instead you get C-3PO. and I'm like, that is so on point. That is...
Great,
but I love the vibe of it.
I love Twilight Princess. I love Twilight Princess, man. It's just that when people say it's like the best and it can do no wrong, and I'm like, yo, I have a video that's like 15 minutes long about the problems of Twilight Princess, but then I get flamed for it because like Twilight Princess is my favorite. I'm like, I'm not saying it's a bad game.
That's okay. I'm the one that says Ocarina of Time's not even in my top 10 Zelda games. So
but you're wrong. But you're wrong. I'm kidding.
Anyways, all right. Guys, let's get into our next topic here. We got it's sort of a combined topic, just because I don't know. I guess the games are somewhat similar, at least in how their combat works a little bit. Okay, they're not the same games, guys. We got Fire Emblem Engage, obviously coming out next week. We'll get into a little bit of how excited we are, and then also I added this sort of as a side note because it was news that broke today, so it wasn't originally part of the topic, about Sparks of Hope underperforming, and if we worry if that might have any possible impact on Fire Emblem Engage maybe underperforming for being a similar style game. I know it's got obviously a much more hardcore fan base. It's got a much more hardcore fan base, of course,
and a different publisher.
And a different publisher, yes.
And actually Japanese people that are excited to buy it.
Yeah, people that are excited, yeah. I just want to know what was said about Sparks of Hope, and this was also kind of in general about Ubisoft, because a number of their games underperformed. In fact, they've now canceled 7 games in the last 6 months.
Yep.
In production, so they're not doing well over there. They said, this comes from Yves Guillemot. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. The current CEO. He says, despite excellent ratings and players' reception, as well as an ambitious marketing plan, we were surprised by Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope underperformance in its final weeks of 2022 and early January. Just Dance 2023 underperformed as well. And then there was some blurb about how basically the future is live service microtransaction filled games, and they tried that actually.
No, I
They're,
think
they're gonna learn the hard way, man. They really thought Uplay was the wave, and then we saw how that turned out. But I do want to make one point on the Rayman thing, not the Rayman thing. Well, now Rayman thing. When they say Raven Rabbids, like there have been people saying that, like, it underperformed due to Ubisoft's expectations, or it could underperform. They didn't release the numbers, Ubisoft. But after saying this, you guys, man, we're never gonna see a Rayman game ever again. Like it's over. Rayman was supposed to be DLC for this game that they apparently rode so many eggs into this basket, and that's coming out at the end of this year, I think. And if they said Mario Rabbids underperformed, we're never seeing a Rayman game ever again.
No, guys, buy that Rayman DLC. It's Rayman's last hope.
It really is. It's his spark of hope. It's literally his spark of hope.
The spark of hope of Rayman.
If we see Rayman, it'll be a much smaller, probably like 2D type of side-scrolling thing or whatever. But like to get to
Rayman Run on mobile.
Yeah, to get to the point with Rabbids. So I've been looking. I have a couple friends in distribution. Now it's not full on, but if you look at like the sales in terms of like Amazon bestsellers, it's right up there with the best-selling games at the $40 price tag. If you look at how it did like on the eShop charts when it launched, it did okay. He said at the end of 2022 and then early January. So obviously that $20 price shop, they're not bringing in as much revenue. So he didn't actually say like sales numbers. I think he meant actually revenue generated. Obviously, you're not making as much if you're shipping them and they're selling them for 40, or you're not getting as many orders into the stores. So I think that's where the issue is. But I think that the big problem is that their expectations, my man Nate also said this, their expectations might have been a little high after a 4 or 5 year gap or development period. I think they were thinking that this game was going to be like maybe a 3-4 million unit seller in the first couple months, and it's probably more like a 1.5 million seller, somewhere in that range.
At very most 2 million.
Yeah, maybe 2 million seller, which is not bad. And over the course of time, and it will sell, but it's just not up to what they expect. So I do expect Ubisoft to make the Capcom adjustment, which Capcom, what they did is they pretty much rival schools, Darkstalkers, all that stuff is pretty much back burner or remaster category. And then you just focus on 2 to 3 franchises. Capcom, it's Resident Evil and it's Monster Hunter. And Street Fighter every now and then, DMC every now and then. And then like everything else is remaster category, Battle Network and all that. So I expect them to just focus on Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry. That's going to be their main. And then everything else is going to be every now and then or remaster. And that's fine. Capcom did it. And look at how Capcom is right now. People, we still want to see the old stuff.
Right. And then like, I get that business strategy. And then a lot of people really need to understand this whole like idea where like, video game companies, they're not your friend, right? They're looking for the bomb dollar. They're looking to keep the companies in the black, right? But it does like like the business side of me was like, okay, all right, I get it. But then like the fan side of me is like, yo, you have a chokehold on all these amazing franchises. And when they don't sell, you're not going to make them, which like, it sucks, but that's like, the thing. That's why, with Nintendo, F-Zero, where is it at? Star Fox? Where's Golden Fox? Yo, Star Fox on Wii U. Like, okay, people like, Wii U had a terrible install base, but there's still franchises on the Wii U that still were able to like survive and whatnot. And the reason why you probably don't see Star Fox Zero on the Switch with updated controls is because that title couldn't even crack 200,000 units. It went like 150,000 users and that's it.
Flopped.
That's ungodly type flops. Like, and then it's crazy when people look into perspectives of like how OJ was saying with Rabbids possibly, 1.1 million units, 1.5 million units. There are series that beg for those numbers, right? But then like when certain companies look at this, and I get it. It's Mario and Rabbids. Those are two highly selling franchises. Mario's literally there, and then Rabbids at one point was like selling everywhere. So I get where that expectation would come from inherently, but at the same time, 1 point, like 1 million units, that's still like, that's not a lot.
5 or 6 million lifetime. Like that would still be just a little bit worse than.
Well, like the first one basically got like right at that 10 million mark, but that was over like 5 years. I don't know. Did they just expect to get all those sales right away?
10 million players, so they're fluffing the numbers a bit, like because you can.
They're cooking that shit.
Yeah, you can play co-op, so they added that as an extra player. And also, like you said, the game was sold like at $7 for and I'm
for many years. Like
Yeah, many
What
years
you
it was
saw
not.
at launch. That's the crowd that really wanted it. You might probably get about $1 million out of that, and then you're just going to get slow trickle of sales for the next couple of years because that's how this works. Be happy that people consider it a Nintendo game, so they treat it like an evergreen title because most of Ubisoft's titles don't get treated like that. So
Yeah.
I feel like when a developer, at least with Nintendo games, like when they actually go the extra mile, they're rewarded for it, right? Like you look at Kirby and the Forgotten Land, best-selling Kirby game of all time. What did they do? They finally went 3D. They gave us what we wanted, and it's now the best-selling Kirby game of all time. Like it's not that great. It's not that hard of a code to crack. Like there you go. It works for Kirby though, right? But then you take a look at Metroid Dread, best-selling Metroid game ever because it was a Metroid game. We wanted a Metroid game, and I mean, I don't even think Metroid Dread's like necessarily like a really expensive game to make, right? Like it was made by Mercury Steam. It's a side-scrolling game. Like it's not a huge game. Like I'm sure they profited pretty well with that one. Like they could probably make another that sells 2 to 2.5 million. It's kind of like in that level of like the Fire Emblem Xenoblade series, and it's not as big. Like that's a big win, right? So I don't know. I feel like at least with like some franchises, if Nintendo partners with like a company and they actually kind of do something cool, like they give us like a cool concept, in general, those games are successful. It's not like back on the Wii U or the GameCube days where games just kind of flop just because.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ubisoft's expectations were just out of whack for this one. But more to a point. Dang, I messed that up. More to a point, Eric, you got the full screen promo,
right?
But more to a point, let's get to Fire Emblem because obviously, Sparks of Hope. We can talk more about that as the DLC comes closer to done and how it might be the swan song for Rayman. I really hope that it's not the swan song for Rayman because Rayman's incredible and it feels like. I mean, what was the last one? The one they made on Wii U that they've now ported everywhere.
Legends.
Yeah, Legends. Yeah. So it's man.
I miss Rayman.
Yeah, I miss Rayman too. It was really good. So getting over to Fire Emblem Engage because it comes out next week. How are we feeling? Can we get the temperature on this? Because I don't know about you guys. I was a little tepid maybe like a few months ago, but they just keep showing more because it's in its midst of its marketing campaign. It's being all their Twitter accounts, all their social medias. There's exclusive stuff happening in Japan that they haven't even talked about yet that I'm sure they'll talk about, next week and stuff like that, building up hype. I think I saw OJ's video today, like stuff that the animal stuff is really in depth, way more in depth than I ever thought it was.
The attitude surrounding this game is very, very good. Very, very good. I'm someone that I've been covering Fire Emblem in depth since Awakening, back when that came out and it revitalized the franchise. And this will probably be the best selling one. And Japan seems to be really, really excited for this one, maybe a bit more than here in the US. I think that here in the US or Europe, I think Three Houses had a little bit more hype. Doesn't mean it's going to sell better. It just means that maybe people were a little bit more excited for it just because of the main character designs compared to it. But if you're looking at like pre-order numbers, you're looking at like how people are going to buy the game right now, it's blowing Three Houses out of the water in Japan.
Ooh.
Pre-orders just destroying. It's already passed it up a while ago, and it's just gaining on it, just putting more and more on it. So that way it's going to obviously do better. And I think that you're going to probably get a lot more of the classic Fire Emblem fans back in this one because it's no longer multiple paths. Like they've been doing this multiple path thing since Fates in 2015, 2016. Now you have a singular path that is very much like an Awakening, very much like a Path of Radiance, old school games, Radiant Dawn, whatever the case is. And now you also have like, it's an anniversary game though. It's almost seems like they're like, you know what, we're just going to make this game and kind of have it somewhere and then release it when they feel like it, because it definitely is an anniversary game. You have a bunch of these characters from previous ones, but I think that's what gets people excited. And probably the biggest new base for this game over Three Houses is going to be the Fire Emblem Heroes base. That base seems to be very excited for this game because it is, hey, I can play as my favorite Fire Emblem characters, but without the gotcha. Without the gotcha mechanics, without all of that, I can just play. So a lot of the Fire Emblem Heroes fans are excited for this, even though you get nowhere near as many heroes as Fire Emblem Heroes, but you still get that aspect of having like that dual team up. So like the atmosphere surrounding like Fire Emblem fans is very high for this game. And it's getting people excited because it's not following like the same motif as Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now there is an opposite side to that. People who love Three Houses and are a little bit upset that they're not going all in on that. But I think that those people are going to buy the game anyway because the combat and gameplay is still very, very, very good. So I think right now, like I think people are like, it's looking good, especially like with those Japanese sales numbers. It's number 2 on Amazon in Japan. Here in America, it's like number 4th or 5th best selling here on Amazon here in the US. So I think right now it's going to do extremely well. Fire Emblem Three Houses, 4 million units plus sold as of I think the end of 2021 or so. So the game, that's the best selling Fire Emblem game by a large margin. So this game has a lot to live up to, but I think that overall it's just going to do better just because of the install base, and just because of the install base, and just because it's an anniversary game, you're going to have all these different characters. I mean, it just looks cool. There's online, you know, it's straightforward. It's not, you know, hard to get into. It's the UI and the interface and everything is much easier to kind of just jump in over Three Houses. So I think this is exciting. It's very exciting for Fire Emblem fans, obviously.
Oh, Jim, I'm kind of curious what you think on this. Because I heard, and maybe it's just something that just a few reviewers said and it wasn't actually true, but I heard that there's no like actual like partnering up in this one, like the romance is gone. Is that true?
There's no romance in terms of, because you're like a 1,000-year-old dragon person, so there's no like, so I mean, there's no romance. There's still relationships, so like you can still have support conversations and relationships and get benefits from that. But there's no romance like you can in previous games in that way. So no. So no,
that doesn't bother me, but I'm just kind of like curious because like with Awakening, with Awakening, which is when the series kind of like came back to like relevance. Isn't that when they introduced romance, or there was no romance beforehand though, right?
There was romance in Genealogy of the Holy War, so you would actually have you know, your kids would be able to fight in the second part of the game and everything. So there's been everything that's in Awakening has been done before in some way, shape, or form across Fire Emblem games. All they did was take it all and then put it together. It was like, this might be our last one. So hey, here you guys go. You know,
from everything, like I understand, like I'm in agreement with you. I feel like Engage, it's set to be amazing. Like you're bringing in the heroes. I feel like most of the changes make it feel like a little bit more mainstream. Like it's going to appeal to like a little bit of a larger audience. And I'm personally like really excited about it. Like I think I'm going to fully love this game, maybe more than Three Houses. We'll see. But I guess I just bring up like the romance thing because I wonder like how much of a hit is that going to be? Is that going to be really a hit at all, or is it just going to be kind of like a little blip? Like you'll see some conversation online, but it's really not going to make a difference.
Conversation, yeah. You'll see people be like, "I don't like that," but then like, "But I'm still going to play the game." It's more like that because it was never a make or break in really any Fire Emblem game. Like there's a ton of Fire Emblem games that don't have that. Like so, if you're talking about some of the like what hardcore fans really love about Fire Emblem, like let's say Path of Radiance, it does not have the type of relationship options like, you know, Fire Emblem Awakening has, or even if you go to some of the other ones, you know, like Gaiden, you know, or anything like that. So there's still people that like that about it, but at the end of the day, it's really just like the romance stuff for most of the games is kind of just like a filler thing, and then what happens at the end, like you get to, I can be with this person, then at the end they have a happy life together, like in Three Houses, whatever, you pair people up together. This game obviously is not doing that, so I think people are going to be, some people that really like that are going to be like, oh man, that's not in there. But there's other things, you know, like there's other things that's in there. So it's going to be a little bit of a blow.
Yeah, but it's also one that, to your point, right? Like it's been something that's kind of gone back and forth. Like just because there's no romance in Engage doesn't mean we won't see romance come back again. It's just kind of like the direction they picked for this particular one.
Yes, absolutely. Like it could come back, and it probably will come back at some other Fire Emblem game. They'll make it to where you can have kids again or something like that, you know, where they'll make it, you know, so they always do different things in terms of hooks or their gimmicks for Fire Emblem games. So yeah, it'll come back. It's not like, I don't think that this game is going to determine the future of Fire Emblem. Some people are trying to say that, but it's not. You know, they're going to just do what they want to. The future of Fire Emblem is always the combat. That's what makes Fire Emblem is people love the tactical combat and people love the characters. Those are like the two things that people love about Fire Emblem. Everything else, they'll just complain about it. Like even like old school Fire Emblem, right? Old school Fire Emblem fans will complain all day about new school Fire Emblem and then go buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me. Why do you think the game's just selling so low?
I feel called out here, OJ,
It's so true. My brother's like that 100%.
You've called me out because I think I've always said like I think Fire Emblem is best as a turn-based tactical strategy game and not as a waifu simulator.
But the waifus and the husbandos!
No, I don't care about the waifus. I legit do not give a shit about the waifus. I just want to play strategy. But that's actually kind of what excites me about this game is I'm reading all these articles or like this Polygon review and stuff saying, like, hey, classic Fire Emblem fans are gonna like this game because it is sort of a return to form in many ways. And for me, like as someone I'm very like on and off. I loved classic. I love the GBA games. My favorite in the franchise is still Shadow Dragon, the DS remake of the original game.
Shadow Dragon,
it's still my favorite Fire Emblem game because it's so freaking good. But then like I don't know, as the games progressed, I just like fell very on it. I've just been very touch and go with it because I just don't care about the support conversations that much or the romance and stuff. I want to play strategy with my soldiers and have them stab each other. So
Weapon Triangle's back, right? So that's good.
That's true. And I don't know why they took it out of Three Houses. Like why? Why not?
Because like you have all these different type of weapons, so it was like you got like gauntlets,
but you had like mages and different weapons and archers in the classic games too, and it was never an issue.
That's true. That's true.
How do you guys feel about the break mechanic?
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
it looks fine. It's cool. That's
it's not like something I'm super excited about, but it's gonna be fine.
You know what's something I am excited about though that I didn't only heard about recently with the previews is that you can actually explore the maps after you've beaten the level. Like
that's cool.
I'm a stickler for exploration. So like at first I was thinking, oh, okay, the Somniel looks a little smaller than the monastery. There's gonna be a little bit less exploration, but it's fine. It's Fire Emblem. It's more about strategy. But then they're like, no, you actually can explore every single map in the game. I'm like, oh, so there's actually more exploration in this game. That's kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, I can't romance the emblem ring of Marth. Bye.
Yo, you know what your comment reminds me of? There was somebody in the comment section for Nintendo's post, and he's like, my horny ass can't have an emblem ring. Dude, that had me dying, bro.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, yo, my brothers are like, yo, I used to love Fire Emblem, and now it's waifu wars, man. Listen. I'm good either way. I just love Fire Emblem because, I played Fire Emblem since back in the day. And then, like, as soon as I hit, like, Darcy at 776, I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. And then Path of the Radiance came out. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not done. And then I played Awakening. I'm like, all right, this is nice. I play Fates. I'm like, I love the characters of Fates.
Yeah.
I hate this game. But so I played Three Houses, and I love Three Houses. So I feel like, at this point, I understand where people are saying like Fire Emblem needs to focus on what made Fire Emblem, and that's the gameplay, right? The combat. And like, I agree with that, but you can't just focus on that for Fire Emblem's longevity stake anymore. So you have to have that along with a gimmick. And if one gets taken out for exchanging for another, I'm completely fine with that. Like, I really did love the life simulation and the romancing in that was in Three Houses. But if that goes in terms of bringing in, the emblem rings and then the pets and all that stuff of that, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling that. Because I like, for me at this point in time, the combat alone does not cut it for me. If you want to focus on that, sure. But give me something else to compensate, not even compensate, complement it. And I'll be good with it. From what I've been seeing with Engage,
I'm really supplementary. It shouldn't be like the focal point of the game.
Yeah.
That's my stance.
I do agree with that, but Three Houses was so good, right? And trust me, the combat was amazing. And I love okay, all right, tactical, let's get it, let's do it. But then also that being halved with the oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, all right, let's focus on this doing this day. Let's do this in Garrick Mach. All the life simulation stuff on top of all that was just so. I loved it. I thought it was the perfect storm in Three Houses.
Like Persona, that's part of. And I know you're
exactly
watching your Persona.
That's why that's why I became so enamored with Persona. And then everyone has asked me, hey, you play Persona 4, 5, and 3. You gonna play 1 and 2? Does it have life simulation? No. Probably not. So, remake those games and add it, then we'll talk. But
Your Persona streams are great, by the way. They're really
thank
funny.
you.
They're
Thank you,
very
thank you.
entertaining.
With Three Houses, just like it was just a perfect storm. So as long as like something's complementing and being supplemental to like the main combat, I'm good to go. And everything I've seen for Fire Emblem Engage is really good. I love the art style. I love how colorful it is. It's very eye candy like, right? And some people it turns off some people, but for me, I love it. All right, so I'm personally excited for Engage.
The animations are epic. Like just like I think
the animations
are
look great.
pop a little more. Yeah,
They look better. They look better than I've ever seen them before. They're awesome. All right. Our next topic, we got Zelda Movie, and this is a rumor that came out of Giant Freaking Robot. They're sort of like they get some stuff right, they get some stuff wrong. It's pretty much like most major outlets that have talked about movie and stuff rumors. And I actually want to get Mike Odyssey's thoughts on this because he is a Illumination movie guru fan over there, especially when it comes to the Mario movie. And the rumor, for those who don't know, is that there's a Zelda movie that's basically what they're probably, I don't know, making next or whatever. And it's starting to get into pre-production for Zelda to be made by Illumination as an animated movie. So there's a lot of things you can talk about with this. Obviously, if it's true or not, none of us know, unless one of us has a source that knows. I don't have a source that knows. So obviously taking Zelda in an animated direction, Illumination, the studio doing it, which I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
I think there's always two sides to it. I think there's a plus side to it, and then there's the other more obvious side to it. The plus side is that if they do go the animation route, just like they go into the Mario movie, that means that we can keep the universe connected together, and then there might be later on something where the universes come together. We can see Mario interact with Zelda and Link in a Super Smash Brothers movie of Avengers type at the end. You know what I mean? Keep it like the NCU. And I'm for it. I mean, as long as they do a good job when it comes to the animation, the voice acting, no Chris Pratt for Link, please. And just continue with start from a point, because what they're doing now is they're presenting what they did with the Mario movie is good because they're presenting Mario to the main audience, right? There are people out there who don't know backstory Mario. They just know Mario jumping up and down, hitting blocks and coins and stuff like that, but they don't really care about the story. What they're doing with Mario is they're doing a movie where every element in the Mario universe is there, so that when people watch the movie, they know Mario has his own Mario Kart. They know Mario has been through levels and he needs to train, whatever. They know Mario, there's a princess, there's Toads, there's a lot of elements there. So when it comes to the Illumination movie, they go that route. I hope they don't go too comedic with it. They need to go a little more. I don't know how to really go about an animated movie not being that comedic, because the closest thing I can think about is the Rapunzel movie from Disney, the one with the long hair.
Yeah. Tangled. Yeah, Tangled. And then that type of animation and kind of story. But I'm for it. If it's true, Illumination. I like Illumination. They do a good job. I feel like if they do, remember Miyamoto is going to be behind it too. So I feel like if Mario movie, if Mario movie is what is becoming to be, and it's, even though there's just little things people pick from it, like the voice actor, the movie is actually going on and is projected to be the best animated movie sold due to a video game. Miyamoto's gonna be behind his baby too, like when it comes to Zelda, and he's gonna make sure that all pieces are all everything is in place. They don't go way too far. They don't go way too Despicable Me with it, and I feel like they're gonna do a good job if it's true. The bad side of it is that we don't get, or maybe we might, because who's to say we don't get an animated movie and we also get a live action on the side. Zelda's a big franchise, and I think they can expand on it. Netflix could be in charge of giving us like a little anime live action series for Netflix, and then have the animated form for the younger audience, right? But I'm just for it. I'm just for it. All I know is that I made a little video, literally voiceover, choking and coughing, and all of a sudden it gets 30,000 views for The Legend of Zelda.
it means that there's a lot of demand for it. People want to see, they're intrigued on what a Legend of Zelda animated movie could be, and I don't trust Illumination by itself. I trust Illumination because they're working with Miyamoto, and I don't think Miyamoto's gonna just let his creation go and let them do whatever they want, But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the franchise. I think it's gonna present Zelda and the Hyrule to the mainstream audience, which is something we want. It's gonna boost games, and it's gonna boost Nintendo. We might see the Hyrule Kingdom at Super Nintendo World. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
Yeah,
right after Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I mean, right next to Pokemon. I mean, I think that's the plan. I think Nintendo wants to become sort of like a Disney thing, and they have all the elements, they have all the characters, they have all the IPs they can continue to build on top of. They start with the movies, right? They get all these movies out there. They got Mario, they got Zelda, they get Donkey Kong, they got it was exciting for me to see they're building Super Nintendo World next to me right here. I live in Orlando, and going by there and just looking at the Donkey Kong built the construction site, it's exciting. Seeing the tracks, they're putting the tracks for the roller coaster is super exciting. So all of this stuff is very, it's part of it. Nintendo's just building up to something even greater. I think they're just planning to take over the world or something,
Is the plan for the Orlando opening to come with both Mario and Donkey Kong at the same time?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because I think by the time if this one opens in 2025, by the time it opens, I think it's opening next month. This next month in Hollywood. In Hollywood,
they're gonna open up like next month. Yeah,
next month. By the way, I'm going. I got an invitation for February 16th Media Day. So
woo,
to be there.
Nice.
Making the big leagues, Mike.
It's not big leagues. It's just me groveling for
groveling. Sometimes you gotta beg on your knees,
right?
Yeah. So Orlando's gonna open up in 2025. Yeah,
2025. I got a whole video because I go out there with my drone and just like look at all the construction site. It looks awesome. Epic Universe is gonna be the biggest thing ever here. It's gonna be awesome. But
just gotta wait 15 years.
Yeah.
Oof.
2025 is not that bad.
I just mean for like all the Nintendo stuff.
Oh
yeah. But that's the plan. And Universal is not dumb. Universal is taking care of Nintendo. They say, you know what, we got you back. We'll do the distribution for Mario movie. That's what they're doing. That Universal's distributing the movie too. They're taking care of the theme parks, and they're on board because they know that in order for Universal to defeat Disney and all their characters, they need Nintendo. They need all these IPs to build upon, and then sooner or later, Universal is going to be this. It's going to be Nintendo. the Mario and Universal is going to be Mickey at Disney. It's going to be Mario at Universal. And I think that's where it's going right now. So it starts with movies. It starts with getting the word out there, getting these characters out there, and I think it's a good move.
It's really exciting prospect that Nintendo could like elevate themselves. Like they have this master plan, right? Using the mobile games, the merchandising, the theme parks, the movie. That's all going to like create a larger fan base. But like we're talking about if the Switch can kind of maintain pace for a couple more years, it might pass DS and PS2 maybe, right? But what if like 10, 15 years from now, we're talking about like Nintendo selling like 300 million like systems per gen. Like, so it's kind of crazy like how much they could potentially grow.
Yeah, because they own their own IPs. They don't share them with anybody. And they're going to have the movies plus the theme parks. Plus, imagine how great this is going to be for Nintendo when it comes to sales. They can just lay back and just, as long as they have their IPs is going to be them. Wherever Mario is, that console is going to sell. Wherever Zelda is, that console is going to sell well. And I think that's their plan. They are expanding to make sure that their survival does not lie just on a game or a console, but they're expanding into the entertainment industry.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. Sorry, Nate, or did you need to move on?
No, you're okay.
Oh yeah, so like I agree that an Illumination movie will probably make more money or reach more viewers just because of people's expectations. But I feel like what would be better would be a Studio Ghibli style Zelda. movie.
Oh.
Like that would be a dream.
what
I don't think it
everybody
would sell
wants.
as much, but it would
Yes.
definitely be.
Why the hell would you want that Nino Cooney looking animation?
Nino Cooney.
Hell no!
What?
I really want it to look like,
OJ,
Nino
you're a
Cooney.
fan of anime.
That's Studio Ghibli, right? Those like bubbly, bro. That's
Nah, bro. They have
Bubbly.
like,
No, like,
they
Princess
have more
Mononoke.
No
good
offense to
looking
Studio
stuff, too.
Ghibli, but I would not do that for Zelda. I would not do that for Zelda. Studio
No, I'm
Princess
looking at
Mononoke.
Princess
That
Mononoke
looks
is
like Nino
already
Cooney.
basically.
Momo at the end.
That
I-
was,
Princess
got-
Mononoke
Studio
is
Ghibli's
basically
Nino
already
Cooney,
Breath of the Wild.
right?
What is happening?
Ghibli does
Why
Nino
we talk
Cooney,
about
yeah.
Nino Cooney? The
Because
voice got
Studio
compared to
Ghibli.
Nino
Because-
Cooney.
Because no, Ghibli does Nino Cooney's like art style.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah. So you
But
want
Breath
it
of the
to kinda
Wild
look
is
like
inspired
that.
by Princess Mononoke though, which is like way cooler looking.
Hey, look, man. I just
Oh,
know
I
them
see.
from and I've seen some of their stuff. There was this girl in Japanese class in college that let me borrow like I forgot what movie it was, and it looked like Nino Cooney. It also and it wasn't
No,
Nino Cooney.
no. OJ, it's Nino Cooney who looks like that.
Yeah, whatever.
It's the other way around. What a hater.
A lot of the stuff they make looks
What
like
a hater.
no shots to Nino Cooney. It's good for what it does. It's good for what it does. But a Zelda,
Yes.
you want it to look like you want it to look something like Castlevania. You want it to look something like that. That's what you want Zelda to look. Come on, be real.
So,
HMK, be real.
OJ,
Would
say
you rather
prefer
have it look
Twilight
like
Princess over
Nino
Wind Waker?
Cooney, or would you rather have it look like the Castlevania series and the animation?
I
Tell
would
us
take
who.
either. Of
Two
those over
champs. Yeah,
the,
two champs can coexist.
Yeah,
No,
true.
I'm asking you.
Either of those
which
would be
one.
better than Illumination's animation style. To be
Yeah,
honest,
that.
I would take either of those over the Illumination style.
Ouch.
No, I think the Mario movie looks great for Mario, but not for Zelda. And so, yeah, I would take either of those absolutely any day over that style.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's
I mean,
Cooney. I actually like the game a lot.
Wow.
I actually
The
like
plot
Nino
twist.
Cooney.
The plot twist.
Do you guys remember the Ridley reveal in Smash back at E3 2018? That
Yeah.
CGI. Like, what if what if there was a movie that looked kind of like that for Metroid?
no,
Like, that has more of like a serious looking tone. Like that would be kind of groundbreaking, wouldn't it?
listen, I was talking to a couple of friends. I'm from Full Sail. I went to other school that they do good animation. Right now, what they're saying is that the future of animation is what Spider-Man into the multiverse.
Yeah, into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's the future animation. They're mixing two types of animation into one to create really cool action scenes. And I feel like if the Legend of Zelda could be good in that type of action scene as well, when it comes to the two type of animation, 3D and 2D animation, and into the Spider-Verse kind of animation to it. So I saw a short film by Illumination that has that type of animation with adults. So it wasn't Despicable Me kind of wise, like very jokey kind of. It was more like more grown up kind of, more vibes, like that. So I feel like if they do go with the Legend of Zelda animated, that, and they go more of the serious tone, they're gonna go that style. That's the future of animation. That's what's trending, right? When it comes to animated films, because look at the Spider-Verse, how great it looks. That type of hand drawn, but then 3D look kind of.
Another good example, the Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yes,
What was
exactly. Yeah, they
That
did
looked
it.
really good.
Yeah. So
It's hard when I think Zelda movie, animated or live action, but obviously in this case animated. I never think Illumination. It's just the most serious full film they've ever made was, maybe the Lorax, and yeah, it had like a serious story, but that was a story that was, it based on a book series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of told for it because the story of the Lorax is sort of a bit more of a serious story. But even then, like, obviously it was Dr. Seuss style, and you got your comedic stuff in there, family friendly, appealing. Like, when I think of Zelda, I don't think of like a family oriented sort of movie. It's more like a teen and up, kind of edgy, more like, adult style anime out there. That's what I kind of feel like works for Zelda. So it's like weird for me to be like, it's not surprising that they would go with Illumination, because obviously they're like tied at the hip to Illumination and Universal. So I understand it, but to me, I was more excited with the old school Netflix live action rumors than I am this thing with Illumination. It's just it's not about not trusting Miyamoto or Eiji Aonuma, whoever they want to, Fubiashi, whoever they want to involve with the project. It's just the brux of the Mario movie is still made by Illumination, and Miyamoto is heavily involved, but he didn't write the script. He didn't, come up with the animation style. So I don't know. I'm a little maybe my concerns are nothing because this ends up not being a thing. But if it is, it feels like I'm afraid they're going to take it too goofy, like excuse me, princess, and get into the whole try to appeal.
Yeah, because I mean, like Illumination can only go so far when it comes to like action and violence and dismemberment, which is something that we see very often in Zelda. So
yeah, but then again, it is some type of a fairy tale story. There's a princess involved. There are kings. There are knights. There's a big bad. There's a hero knight in there. But with those safe animation movies, you always see like, oh, sword fighting in order to parry the other person's sword. But when he has a clean shot, he knocks him out with his hilt, and I'm like, no, kill him! What are you doing? Like, so with Illumination, we're never gonna get that. They're never gonna go past that line. They're never gonna give us an R-rated movie. That's never gonna happen. Or
not really an R-rated movie, but just like PG-13 at the very least.
Yeah, even PG-13. But then again, you have to understand that what they're trying to do here, they're trying to attend the masses, not just
right.
But they're trying to make Zelda a mainstream name and a mainstream franchise. And not that there won't be other projects on the side that will appease us adults with our need for gore and the slash and the hack and stuff. But I understand what they're trying to do with Nintendo IPs. They're trying to create like a bed on which they could actually just build upon. You know what I mean? And then from there, maybe later on, give us something different when it comes to different IPs. Maybe this is not the only Mario movie we're going to get, or the only adaptation of Mario we're going to get. Maybe we'll get another Mario later on.
Or was that rumored Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah.
So, maybe.
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong.
Do we have a good comparison for like what we would envision like a proper like animated Zelda movie to look like? I brought up a Princess Mononoke.
I was about to say Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke is a perfect comparison. But I also think that a short, like 6 1-hour episode miniseries would honestly be a better format for the kind of story or the kind of scope that Zelda games or Zelda stories tell. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't think a movie is enough time unless it's going to like really drag on as a movie.
And they're not going to do that. Yeah.
And they're not. They wouldn't do that. Yeah. So I just think a series would honestly just be better. Something like what Disney Plus is doing right now with all of their sort of mini series. You've got the Hawkeye and Andor was really fantastic. Something to that scope would honestly be better because then you have the time to like the Mario world. You jump into it and you're into it and it's very immersive. But the depth of what kind of story Zelda needs to tell, you need to flesh out.
They could also do a trilogy.
Your villain a little better than you would need to with Bowser.
They could do like a trilogy that's like coming out back-to-back years. Like maybe they create it all in one production run, and they do. But maybe that's probably like a huge investment.
You just got me flashing back to the Hobbit trilogy.
Oh boy!
Hey, it's nowhere. And that's
not what
the book is like this small.
Rings, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, I just like. I don't even really want it to be live action either.
Let me ask you a question, though.
I think. Oh yeah, ask away.
All right. So, what if they did make a trilogy for the Zelda movies, and they like critically and like reception wise, they're basically about as good as the Hobbit trilogy? How would you feel? You'll like it more because it's Zelda, but like in terms of like execution of story,
I'm fully ready to not like something even if it's Zelda. We were just talking about Triforce Heroes at the start of this. I wanted to like it. I really did. I obviously have bias, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I also don't think, like Mike mentioned earlier about, trying to make things mainstream. You don't have to make it family friendly to be mainstream. I mean, look at some of the most mainstream IPs we have that you probably wouldn't take a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old to, like Star Wars as an example. Plenty of death, plenty of killing in that. Very much a teen and up series that is mega, like massive, huge. like Mario and Zelda don't have to appeal to the same audiences. There are audiences that like mass of audiences that enjoy very different things. And it always felt like to me that they did something with Zelda, that was their chance to grab that different audience. Like that audience that wants the more mature style stuff. Not to go rated R. Zelda's not a rated R franchise. You wouldn't, this isn't Doom.
Although that would be kind of awesome though.
But like what we're
movie.
What we're saying, Prime, is that we would love that, like 100%. Is just that I don't think Illumination has it in them to do that, though.
Yeah.
No.
So that's the thing.
And that's what concerned me when I first saw this. Is I'm like, no, we're gonna get a Mario style Zelda movie, and I it's not what I want. My kids love it, and other people, that's fine. But like, I kind of feel like we went down this road where they tried to make a really family friendly Zelda show at one point. Yeah. And that didn't go very well.
Oh,
so
like I'm gonna leave y'all with this because I actually have to dip because like with Illumination and with an anime style Zelda and whatnot, even if like animation style, if they were to appeal to like a more family friendly thing with no blood, let's just like take this into account. No blood, no dismemberment, none of that gory stuff, right? Link in a lot of the game uses a bow and arrow, right? And of course, like the easiest way to take out an enemy is to get him between the eyes, right? No blood, no dismemberment. Illumination will never do that. Will never show Link shooting a bow and arrow. Like, even if it's not even a human, a skeleton, anything like that, they will never show it in between the eyes. So that's why I'm leaving y'all guys. I would love to stay, but I gotta be out. But it's been super, super fun. Prime, keep inviting me back. I hate that I have to keep dipping. Yeah, one of these days, I'm just gonna be like, here, I'm gonna tie myself to the chair. All right. But it's been really fun. All right. Take care, everybody.
Later.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, I want to give you guys a movie from Illumination that has more serious tones to it, even though it is a family friendly movie. It's a family movie, but it does have some. I feel like the animation in that movie kind of resembles more of what something they could do, and it's Sing 2 from Illumination. So Sing 2 from Illumination. It's not a jokey more like comic. It has its comedic parts, but the majority of the movie has its serious tones when it comes to the situations that are happening within the movie. They're very bad situations, like abandonment, self-consciousness, things that people go to every day. Like, you know what I mean? So Sing 2 is a good. It's a good movie to see what they could do. Don't picture the characters as their little characters. Just look at the movie and the type of work they could actually do when it comes to the world building, because also the world itself, how they animate the world itself within. There are some areas in that movie where they go into the wild and it looks very nice, but it gives you an idea of and I'm not really defending Illumination. I'm just saying that they're talented. They're a talented company, and they can actually pull it off if guided well. It has to do with the director, it has to do with the screenplay, who's acting in the movie, what kind of story we're telling, how we're presenting. It's a whole bunch of factors, because I know it's easy to judge upon what we just know. Despicable Me, the humor, the stuff, but
well, sure.
When it comes to creating a film, again, it's just there's so many elements that go to it, and with Zelda, I'm not sure they will go all the way out when it comes to comedic, that comedy style. I think they'll have some adult tones to it, but at the same time, be friendly enough that kids could watch it as well.
I'll say this: Minions, Toads, Koroks.
No,
y'all can talk about a movie way too long. That's all I gotta say. Y'all can talk about a movie like way too long, bro. Like,
this movie's nonsense.
Like, movies aren't that great to talk about it like that, unless the whole thing was about a movie. But I'm just saying, I'm just listening. Like, I'm like, why are we still talking about a movie? Like, it doesn't even exist right now.
Yeah.
Do we even believe the rumor?
I gotta admit, movie is one of my fortes, so that's why I can talk about it like I can keep talking about it because
my sleeping is one of my fortes right now. No offense, man. No, I'm just messing with you, Mike. I'm just messing with you.
I know, right. It's like it's not video games.
Yeah, I felt like you on a video
right,
game
right.
podcast. What is
I
this?
don't mind talking about movies, but damn, dude, that was just we talking about Minions, talking about all this. I'm like, oh man,
Here we go.
as soon as I heard Minions, I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Oh, no.
I have a quick one. What happened? What if they kept it in like the style of Young Link or Toon Link?
No.
You know, where they didn't go like
Actually,
adult Link.
if you have like a 2D hand drawn
forever.
style, if like look at Wind Waker's like official artwork, I love that very
It's
like
beautiful.
for those bold outlines and the that sort of like very sort of what's the word the color palettes that they use and just that sort of that 2D art style, and it looks different in the game when it's all cell shaded and stuff. Game looks fantastic as well, but I love that artwork that comes with Wind Waker and even games like the Minish Cap. If they want to do like 2D animations in that style, I would be all for that, honestly, because it has a very striking visual style that is kind of unlike any other media that's out there right now. Like there's no movies or TV shows that look like that, you know. Yeah, so I'd be here for it, honestly, if they decide to go that route.
Sure. So we're reaching the end here. I just want to thank everyone for being here. For those who don't know, everyone's channels and stuff are linked down in the description. If you liked anyone here and you didn't know who they were, you can go check out their other content because we all do a bunch of stuff. We'll go through the rigmarole here about talking about what we do in a moment. I just have one last question for you guys. When do you guys think we're getting GoldenEye? Something we actually have announced. It's supposed to be coming, multiplayer exclusive here. Xbox has their thing. There was a rumor today about Xbox version dropping later this month. Maybe that's something that happens at that now announced Xbox event. But when do you guys think we're getting this GoldenEye game? It was supposed to come soon 3 months ago.
Don't let RUT hear me, but Nintendo Direct. It's coming in the Nintendo Direct in February, not January. That's my pick.
Yeah, I think you're muted there, Daniel.
Captain. You can't hear Captain.
Yeah. Maybe that's his spiel.
Yeah.
He's got a trick going
That's
on.
my spiel, everybody. No, sorry. So it's like that thing where, you know, they're available now, like, or right after this direct, like during the direct, it goes live. That sort of thing is what you mean?
Yeah. They just drop
All
it. Yeah, like Shell drop it.
What's their N64 release for this month?
Nothing announced yet. I don't think.
Yet.
Did we already get everything that they announced beyond GoldenEye? Because there was like 3 Mario Party games. I forget what else.
I think Mario Party 3 hasn't gone down yet. Mario Party 2 and 3. 2 and 3.
Maybe that comes first.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that we'll have it before the end of February.
Sure.
Like by the direct, I have a hard time believing we won't hear about it by that point, if not beforehand.
All right. Yeah, look, in my opinion, if it's coming on Xbox end of the month, like the rumor says, then cool. Like maybe they give it to Switch at the same time, or Xbox gets it first, because the whole point of the Switch version is part of a service and has online multiplayer. So like that's, you know, why we didn't get it. I don't know. I guess Nintendo soon window is always like 6 months, and not.
No. I know why. It's because there's the Switch hardware capability. We need more time to.
Here we go.
And
Mike again. Here we go. Switch 2 dropping in April. Anyways,
it's gonna be a launch title of Switch 2. You know, GoldenEye Switch 2 is just a great game to show out those graphics.
Oh my gosh. All right. I think we've reached the end here. All right, Mike, where can people find you at, bud? What do you do? Let the crowd know.
All right, we got Mike Odyssey at YouTube. We also have the Topic podcast. Revamping again with some new voice actors coming in this year. It's gonna be an exciting year. I think our first for the year is gonna be Charles Martinet coming in, and then we're looking to bringing I forgot her name. It's gonna kill me. The actress who does the voice of Sonic, Tails, in Sonic the Hedgehog movie. She also does the movie in the games. And so the entire podcast is going good. Starting over again. Mike Odyssey on YouTube, and a lot of stuff behind the scenes happening that I'm not gonna talk about anymore.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't drop a 20-minute monologue like you usually do every week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Just gonna
Player Essence, what do you got going on? Where can people find you?
Yeah, just find me right here on YouTube. Player Essence, got cool videos that I've already made this week and more videos going up. So thanks for having me on.
awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Lots of RPG stuff, guys. You love RPGs. He's like literally my source.
Yeah,
I don't even look up news anymore. I just watch your channel for RPG news.
Yeah. RPG stuff and like action games, like if you're into like
Action
Bayonetta, stuff like that, action RPGs stuff. That's what I like. So that's what I talk about a lot. So yeah.
Yep. Andres, where can they find you at, bud?
Hello. You see my name? If you search that, you'll find me. I make videos about Nintendo. And they're coming out pretty much every day. I'm also planning a likely special stream on Friday where I'm having a little bit of a debate discussion between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Which one's better? Well, join the discussion Friday night and we'll see.
Hey, there's a channel update coming soon, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a channel update, a little bit of a facelift that Mike's been helping me out with. He's so gracious. It's gonna look kind of nice.
It's looking. It's gonna be like the best looking channel on YouTube after ours.
All right, Cap Bergerson, where can they find you? What do you got going on?
Yeah, all of my socials, everything is Capped Bergerson, as in, oh my gosh, that's the captain of this boat, but it's actually a burger, and it is my father. And I mostly make Zelda videos, particularly videos about Zelda dungeons, because that's really my my forte, I guess. And I stream twice a week, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, a lot of good Zelda content coming, especially with Tears of the Kingdom on the horizon. So that's me.
Yeah. And you guys all know you can find Eric Moore right here every Wednesday on the Nintendo Prime Podcast.
For the most part, as long as I'm not at work.
As long as he's not working or not traveling for work, more likely. You can find him on Twitter at emo8790. He's sort of the cohort over here behind the scenes. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much to all of our guests coming out. Also, by the way, got to remember to shout HMK as well. Again, links to everyone's channels down in the description. HMK does a lot of stuff on Zelda and Kingdom Hearts and a bunch of random stuff. He's got streams going crazy over on Twitch, and they get really wild. You guys think my streams get wild? Just go watch his. They're insane, and they're awesome and a lot of fun. So is pretty much everyone here who live streams. I really enjoy all of them, especially when there's some weird comments on Twitter, and then OJ just goes off. That's a favorite every week. It's like
we talked about RGT versus Sessler, which was fantastic.
I missed that one. I'm like,
WrestleMania 39, RGT versus Sessler.
Was that today or yesterday's stream?
That was yesterday.
Yes, yeah, I gotta say he dropped that video yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it was this stuff gets fun, man. That was interesting.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. You can get the audio version of our podcast everywhere podcasts are heard. It'll be up usually at 24 hours after the video version. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to everyone watching, and we'll be back next week.
Peace.
See ya.
Later.